Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Discord Bot Maker Tutorials with your pal Herpaderp. And we're back here at the scene of a completely blank project. As you can already see, there is no commands or events. Last episode, we already added the bot to the server, and as you can tell by the different color of the program, it is currently running absolutely nothing. So, I'm going to stop that project, and we're going to start off with something super basic, and we're going to create a command. Oh, I'm going to delete that one because I thought I didn't have any. Never mind that. Anyway, so we're going to create a command, and we're going to do something so simple and basic as the outcome of flipping a coin. Simple, right? What we're going to do is command coin toss. Is that how you would do that? Is it coin flip? Actually, I'm curious. Post down in the comments. What do you guys call it when you flip for heads or tails? Because I always call it a coin toss, but I've recently heard a lot of people call it a coin flip, and I just want your opinion. So I'm going to put it in as coin toss. You guys can put it in as whatever you want. Capitalization doesn't matter if you set your case sensitivity to no, like I said last episode. But we're going to use coin toss or coin flip or whatever you prefer, and we're going to have it create a outcome. It's going to be pretty much a heads or tails. Super basic, right? So we're going to go down to other stuff, and that's going to include your generate random number, and we're going to have the minimum as 1 and the maximum of 2, and this is going to be whole number, so it's going to be 1 or 2. We can do the decimal points, but we're not going to cover that yet. And also, as you guys might have seen, I also have a bananaful gigantic amount of extra commands that you guys probably don't see, because not only am I in beta and in mods, I also have I've been trying to make my own commands and functions for the Discord bot making program on the beta mod side. So please, if you don't see it, don't worry about it. I will cover it, and I'll tell you how to get the command if we come to something that isn't part of vanilla DBM. So, like I said, we have the random number generator. We're going to do 1 or 2. And we're going to do the variable as coin flip. I'm sorry. I'm kind of winging this. So, we're going to save it as a temporary variable because we don't want to save it. And what this is the global variable saves it to the bot itself. Now, this is something where if you plan on sharing this bot with 1,000 other servers, that variable is accessible across everything and it is saved. It's near permanent almost. Now, if you do a server variable, that's something that saves it permanently, but to that server. Now, if you do a temp variable, it's only for the length of the command. So almost always we're going to use temp variable, and we can start covering these other ones later on. So temp variable, we're going to do coin flip. So now that we have the random number generator doing the 1 or 2, we're going to create a new command, and we're going to select conditions, and we're going to have it check variable. Now, the only variable we have is the coin flip because we just created that from the generate random number. Now we're going to do an equals value compared to 1, and we're gonna just leave it right now with the if true, if false, just for now. So now if it's 1, we're going to create another new command where it's going to say heads, and we're going to create another action. And this action is just a break so it doesn't end up saying multiple things. And go down to other stuff, do an end action sequence. It's literally a break where nothing will happen after that. We're going to clone, or if you do not have that function yet, you're just going to create another send message, and we're going to label it tails. Now, if you really wanted to get technical, you could do this same process where if you want, sorry, I'm going faster thinking than I am talking. So what happens here is if you have the check variable, it's checking to see if it equals 1. And if you do true, you'll have it continue through to say the send message heads. If you do a where if false it jumps to action 5, you can have it check for number equaling 2, and then if false, stop action sequence or end action sequence like we have here. I am doing a shortcut, which if it's not 1, the only other option is 2. So if it's 1 here, if 2 here, it literally is probably the most condensed you can make this. Now you can have it do where you can do a dice roll, where actually let's just do that here. So we have a dice roll, and we're going to create a, just like we did last time with a random number generator. We're going to generate random number, minimum range 1, and let's say it's a 6-sided dice, so maximum range of 6. And we're going to do dice roll as the variable. Now we're going to need to do a check variable like we did last time, and we're going to have it equal 1, continue, if false, jump action. And what that does is allow us to pretty much go step by step all the way through until it hits all possible 6 sides and then ends the action, or finds whichever number it's supposed to go to and then sends that message. So let's go ahead and just skip the number for the jump to action for now, and let's create another action for send message. You rolled a 1. So I'm going to copy and paste that, and if you go back to the check variable, we can then, you know, copy and paste that over into another one, and so on and so on for all of them. So we're going to do a end action sequence to separate them, because if you do a if true 1, okay, you rolled a 1, but if you don't put the action here, it's going to try and say, okay, you rolled a 2, you rolled a 3. It's going to keep trying to go all the way through the lines, even though you already hit what you wanted to. This is like, oh, hey, you did what you're supposed to, you're done. End command. So we're going to now check for dice roll equaling 2. And I'm sorry if you guys don't have the ability to copy and paste. It's a lifesaver. If you don't have the beta or the mods, I highly recommend it. And I can leave the links to the actual DBM Discord servers that will have the forums and the links to download the beta and mods, which I can cover in another video as to how to actually install them. But for now, let's just finish up the how to do some of these more simple commands here. And as you can see, you know, generate random number 1 through 6. Okay, if 1, send message. If 2, send message. And you literally can copy and paste that all the way through, because it's not going to give you anything other than a 6 as the highest. So you're not going to get like all of a sudden a 7, and it's just going to make it all wonky or whatever. So I'm going to just finish this quick, and then I can just show you what it looks like in Discord. Alright, now as you can see, I finished creating the check variables and the messages saying you rolled a 1, you rolled a 2, and so on. But there's one thing we haven't done yet, is the jump to action. So right now, if we open up the check variable, it says if true, continue actions. Well, if it's not a 1, it's going to jump to an action. Now we need to see what that next action is, and as you can tell, the next check variable is number 5. So you type in action 5, and you do the same thing for the 5th action, where you're going to jump to action 8, because that is the next check variable. And yeah, sometimes it gets a bit tedious, but trust me, this is way more convenient than actually trying to type this stuff into JavaScript directly, which is what makes your 90% of your chatbots work. I know Python exists, but let's be real, Python is a lot more complicated than the JavaScript side is, because Discord, the developer, has like so much documentation for the JavaScript because it uses discord.js, which, if you're not super nerdy on code, no worries. But as you can see, I'm finishing this up here, and boom, we're good. Now, some of you might be wondering why I don't have an end action sequence on the end of the 6 for that. Is because that is the last action. There's nothing to continue. So if I had, out of these, and then, saying, okay, well, what's your percentage for rolling 1? Or how many times have you rolled 1? Or how many, what are your odds to roll 1 out of 6? Or anything like that after this, then I would need an end action sequence and then, whatever I want underneath it. But since it is the last function, you technically don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I'm going to hit run project. It's going to ask me to save again, even though I just did. And now we can go into Discord, and you can see on here my bot is now live, and I can put in dice roll. And it says you rolled a 6. And you can do this multiple times because it's going to give you a different outcome every single time, or it's going to be randomly generated. And it's pretty simple as to how to actually make some of these super basic ones work. Now, there's plenty of ways that you can make these a lot more animated, and I can start getting into those a little bit later. And there's also some cool message stuff that you can do. So I can have an edit message, a send image, edit image, so many cool tools that you can do. But I think this is a good quick sum up of how to do basic commands for now. If you want to see more, please leave a comment and let me know if this video was helpful for you, or if you want me to cover more things or something specific in the future. I would also appreciate your feedback, but until then, you guys stay classy.